because you know what? Why shouldn't you win in this life? Okay, that's always my jam. So, welcome if you're joining me wherever across all of my platforms, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, especially to the diamonds in the To All the Girls Success Club. Welcome to you on LinkedIn as well. I am live there. So, welcome. And I do hope you're having a wonderful time already. I do hope that your mind is already made up that this is going to be a day where you crush your goals, where you overcome, and where you also enjoy life. Okay. In the club, the To All the Girls Success Club, wherever you're watching me, if you're a woman, go send an invite there and I will let you into the club. We usually begin with our confessions. I am blessed and highly favored, above only and not beneath, the head and not the tail. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I shall lend and not borrow. And the one that is my favorite, I have nothing missing and nothing broken. What about you? Are you having something missing, something broken? No, you're okay. Doesn't mean you're perfect. It means that you approach the world from a sense of sufficiency. That what I have is enough, and I'm just growing and building on that. So, that being said, do say hi. I'm trying to see if I get the comments this morning. Hi, Kina. Good morning to you. Good morning. Today, we want to talk about the third part in the series I started earlier this week about practical ways to love yourself. And this morning, we are wanting to talk about setting boundaries with those that you love. Do you ever have trouble doing that? Is it ever difficult for you to set boundaries with people that you love, right? Let me know. Let me know how it is for you. I was saying yesterday and in the days before, and welcome to my IG family. I'm not seeing, I'm supposed to be live on IG. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it, okay? Anyway, yeah, there I am. Yeah, live. Okay, hey Elsa, how are you? Yes, you are a courageous, authentic, and committed leader. I see that, Elsa. Welcome to you too. Yeah, and it's good to be able to confess the things that you are passionate about, that you want to in a way become as well as part of your identity. So I was saying the last couple days in terms of this topic about setting boundaries with people you love, I was saying that it is, I think, a little easier when you don't really know somebody to kind of maintain or to set your boundaries. And I was thinking of this example. A couple of weeks ago, I met a mom who has three sons like I do. So, we're doing sports together, so you meet people. And she's such a wonderful lady. Very, already I can see we're going to be good friends. Except that this new friend of mine is very touchy. Okay? It's the kind of person, have you ever met anybody like that? Hey, good morning to you, LinkedIn user. How are you doing? Thanks for being here. Um, Somebody who's like, they'll be talking to you and be like, yes, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh, yeah. You guys, that is a no-no for me because number one, I'd prefer to keep my distance in this age of coronavirus and COVID, whatever. I prefer to be a bit, keep my distance. And secondly, perhaps even more importantly, I am not that kind of person. I'm not the touchy feely type. I have to really know you as a friend or family member for me to embrace you or touch you. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I want this person to be my friend, but listen, I have to set this boundary. All right. And so I've kind of thought it out because sometimes when you're setting boundaries, you literally have to step back and think about how you're going to approach it. So the first thing for me was it was easier to kind of be like, hey, oh my gosh, girl, what are you doing? Or something like that, I think I said. And, just to see her reaction, I don't know that she's got it. I don't know that I was forceful enough, but I do have a plan just to kind of say, you know what I mean, and do it jokingly, laughingly, whatever, and see whether it's going to hit because we need to solve this. This is a no-no for me, and I can't see myself being in a relationship or friendship with somebody who's just hitting me. Like, no, even if it's in jest, even if it's just her way of like, just being very friendly, it's irritating for me. Do you ever have anything like that happen to you, and how do you deal with it? And I know that I'm speaking about a boundary that perhaps is, not very important with for some people, and we do have to set deeper boundaries, more important ones, and perhaps that's where I'm wanting the conversation to go this morning. But here's the thing. What about this is somebody that I've just met? It's a little easier. What about with those people that you love? Family members, your partner, your husband, your wife. And it could be that you have known the person for a long time and you now have changed. You now no longer want whatever the attitude or the action or the behavior is in your life because you might have grown, you might have just simply become different. And now you need to say to your loved one, hey, this is not going to work for us. How exactly do you approach that? And so I wrote down just little. We don't have much time. I wrote down 3 points to kind of get us over the boundary and to set the boundary and to make sure that after you've set the boundary with your loved one, you still have a relationship. There's still something there, even though it might be awkward for a while. See what I mean? So let's talk about it. The first thing is this, as far as I'm concerned, when I have to set boundaries with people I love, I go into thought work. A lot of this is in your mind. A lot of this begins first off with what are you thinking and where you are training your thoughts to go. And so the first thing that I decide is that no matter how awkward, no matter how difficult, or I'm not even sure wieldy it will be, I am going to end up on the other side of the boundary, as in, this boundary is going to be set. What do I mean by that? Okay, so some people don't set the boundaries, they try to ignore it and be irritated by the person with whom they know they need to have that conversation because it's just too difficult. So the first thing is no matter what, determine I am going to set this boundary with this person. It puts you in a different frame of mind than just simply not wanting to deal with it. Because the minute that I begin to say to myself, no matter how difficult it is going to be to set this boundary, it's going to be done, then I begin to look for ways to set the boundary. That's the first thing. Don't ignore it. Don't go head on into it because you know what? Don't go like a bull in the china shop because you're going to lose your friend. You're going to lose your partner. You're going to lose that relationship that perhaps was just budding and it literally has, it has potential. So don't lose it. But set your mind, first of all, no matter how difficult or awkward it's going to be, this boundary is going to be set. That's the first thing. It puts you in a different frame of mind. And here's the second thing. The second point is this: if this is somebody who's a friend or somebody that you care about, there should be communication and conversation. What do you think of that? Many times when you're setting boundaries with somebody who's accustomed to you being a different way, I think it's very important that there is conversation and explanation about what you're doing. Hey, so for example, I have a great friend, really good friend, who is a night owl while I am an early bird. So it means it is very difficult. I cannot be talking on the phone at 10 o'clock at night because I have to wake up very early in the morning. But this is a friend. This is somebody I want to speak to, just not at 10 o'clock at night. Okay. And so we had to have the conversation about, hey, you know what time I wake up, right? So let's kind of chat at a time that's good for us because honestly, like I don't think you really want to talk to me at 10 o'clock at night. Like I would be grumpy, I would be cranky, I might say things I don't mean. You don't want to face that. So I literally said to her, you know what? Many times, if you call at that time, my phone is going to be off. I won't be able to take the call. So why don't let's talk at a time that is convenient to both of us, right? It's your friend. So that second point says, tell the person what you're doing, explain why you're setting the boundary and how what the thought process is. What I found, and I'm speaking from the position of somebody who has had boundaries also set with them. Friends that I have also set boundaries with me. Why is it, you guys, that I end up appreciating and respecting that person a lot more? Don't you think that the same thing is going to happen for you? If you, however difficult, make up in your mind, I'm setting this boundary, and then explain to your friend, no matter how awkward it is, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm setting this boundary and so on. You know what? Um, that's just how it's going to be. I hope you understand. Have that conversation. Your friend, if it really is a friend, in my opinion, maybe this is a value judgment here, but hey, of course, we make value judgments. Of course, we do. And that's okay. Your friend is going to respect you a lot more for setting the boundary. What I've realized too, when we set those boundaries in a loving fashion, we preserve the friendship, we deepen the partnership, we preserve the marriage, or the romantic relationship when you have boundaries, because people know where you start and stop. What happens is, if you're the kind of person who's just simply very passive aggressive, maybe, and will just simply avoid, not set the boundaries that you have to, you end up resenting the person. And your relationship never moves from being surface level and being superficial to being the kind of deep and abiding and qualitative relationship that really makes life meaningful. So do the hard thing, set those boundaries. Here's the third thing: expect there to be awkwardness after. Sit into it, simmer, ride it out. It's your friend. That person will come back. And even if it isn't a friend, even if it's somebody perhaps that you're setting boundaries with, that you don't really know, it's a test. Can you abide? Can we abide by each other's boundaries to move into life with each other? That is the test. Expect the coldness, perhaps, or the snarky remarks about, oh, I'm sorry, did I call you at the wrong time? It's okay, sis. It's okay, brother, there. Just simply write it out. It's part of the human relationship and the human makeup to have those little kinks in our, the sea and the little blanket and whatever you want to look at life at. It's not always going to be a smooth sailing. Expect it, write it out. You're up for it, because after a while, if that person really understands and respects you, that person is going to come back to the love of the friendship or the partnership or the marriage. But by all means, begin with, I'm setting this boundary no matter what. We cannot go on like that. However difficult it's going to be, this boundary, somehow, some which, what way, maybe via text, maybe I'll just insert it into a conversation or whatever, but it's been set. Last point is this. So that was the 3 points, right? Hi on my Instagram page. How is everybody doing? Thank you for being here. Okay. So here's the other thing. Many times people don't set boundaries because they don't trust themselves. Isn't that isn't that true? Many times we come out like, as my Trinidadian friends say, you set your boundary. Oh my gosh, do not call me after this time. You end up being the person who transgresses the boundary. And that's what we're afraid of. My advice when that happens to me, because it does, I just simply regroup as much as possible, because I realize that as strictly as I stick to my boundaries, is definitely as strictly as other people will stick to those boundaries. And so you owe it to yourself, if you're setting a boundary, to make sure that you can stick to it. And if you don't beat up on yourself. You just simply try again. And even in the face of perhaps ridicule or laughter from the person to whom you set the boundary, you still need to keep on going to solidify and to make those, you know, those guardrails around you as solid as possible. So, by all means, set the boundaries. Let me just reiterate, make a commitment no matter what, the boundary is going to be set. Secondly, engage in conversation and communication and explanation with the person you're setting the boundary with. You love this person. You don't want to lose them as a friend or partner or whatever, or colleague. Set the boundary, let them know what you're doing. And thirdly, is to expect that it might be iffy for a while. It might be awkward for a bit of for a bit there, and that's okay. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me. I'll be on next week again. I'll probably be on sometime tomorrow, maybe around midday. It's Remembrance Day here in Canada. Not just in Canada. Yeah, so I'll be home and maybe jump on for a bit. But thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Set those boundaries.